Hey, this is Gray Fox.
And I'm Vixen.
And welcome to part 2 of our Blade Show fun. No longer hungover, ready to rock and roll, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
All right. So this episode is going to be specifically on our time with Tops. Tops knives have been around for a long time. They've gone through quite the changes over the years, but are definitely my favorite survival knife company. So it was pretty awesome to be able to spend time with them and have a good time with them. So
yeah.
So what did you think?
Craig and Leo were really fantastic. They talked with us multiple times actually, and they were
at the show and out of the show.
Yeah. Yep. And they were both really just gracious and nice guys.
Really cool guys.
Yeah.
We definitely had a good time with them.
Right.
So Craig took time out of his busy show schedule to come and do an interview with me and just kind of a talk back and forth. As you guys know, I do things a little bit differently where it's more me just talking back and forth with people.
Right.
But regardless, we had a lot of good communication, a lot of interesting information.
Yeah.
And I'll play that now, but be aware, it was a crowded, loud place, and I'm going to have to figure out a new microphone situation next year because it just was loud, but it turned out okay. So here it is. This is Gray Fox with Sly Fox Technical here with my buddy Craig from Tops Knives, and today at Blade Show 2017. Has this been a successful show for you this year?
Absolutely. We had a lot of people show up to this show. Compared to last year, we're up quite a bit. This is my 4th Blade show, and I've seen more people here at this one than any of the others by far.
Wow.
It's been great. Very good.
That's awesome. So every year you guys have a table full of, I think, more designs than any other knife maker every year when we come to Blade Show, or every year when I see you, wherever you guys may be. How do you guys keep up with creating new, fresh designs every year?
There's a couple of ways we do that. So, first of all, we've got the president of Tops Knives, Leo Espinosa, designs most of what we make, and he's just got this. I don't know what it is, but he's got this mind that works for design. If you look at his designs, you look at things like the Quick Skin, the Biax, the Tex Creeks, he's got
so far everyone that I own, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many knives that he's designed, and they're all different. Usually, you'll see with a lot of designers that they'll have some differences, but they still have this styling. You're like, okay, this is that guy, this is that guy. With Leo, he's everywhere. Like, he can design anything, and so that keeps it fresh. And then apart from that, we work with outside designers as well. So we work with guys that are special forces. We work with guys that are just outdoorsmen. We work with survivalists, and then we work with guys that just designed a knife and it was unique, and we said, hey, that's great, let's do it. So between those two things, there's always something new, you know. And at some point, a knife is a knife, but there's a lot of different ways to make that knife.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I saw you guys have been doing a lot more of the CNC machine. Of a lot of stuff lately. How did that come about? Was that like something just new and fresh, or
growth? It was growth. When we were grinding things by hand, it got to the point where we just could not keep up with the demand. It wasn't going to happen. So the CNC machines were our way of increasing production. So we cut the blades and the handles with CNCs, and then we still do as much as we can by hand. So the heat treat is done by a person. The handles are individually shaped after they're cut. There's a little bit of shaping that goes on by hand. They're sharpened by hand, assembled by hand. Our quality control is about 3 people at the very end of the process that all are checking quality as they finish things up. So,
and you guys make your own sheaths too, right?
We do.
That's awesome.
So the CNC was growth. We had to do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. For future projects, where are you kind of heading? Are you heading in a particular direction, or are you still kind of shotgunning all over the place?
We have some plans. There's some things we want to do. You know, obviously we want to start making more folders. Bob folder will be coming out soon. It's in production now. It'll be available here in a couple of months, and we are actually making them. So for those people who are like, yeah, right, we are. It's happening. So we want to do more folders. We still prefer fixed plates. For most of what we do, a fixed plate is the right tool, and so that's what we're going to continue doing. But we want to get into more folders, possibly some kitchen style knives. You know, we always find more holes.
That new knife you have,
Frog Market Special.
Frog Market Special. I can see that as an awesome camp kitchen knife.
That's what it was designed based on. So Stephen Dick is the designer. He took a trip a few years ago to Vietnam, and as he was going through, they call them frog markets because they spring up in one part of town and then they close down and they go somewhere else.
Wow.
And so as he was going through these markets, he saw that pretty much everybody was using that style of knife, and it was just different than the style you see here in the States. You don't see kitchen knives like that.
That's a lot thinner than anything else you guys have made so far.
Yeah, by far. The small one is 1/16 of an inch. And the big one that we just released, the Frog Market Special XL, is 3/32.
Wow. For your heat treats on your knives, I heard, and maybe it's not with all of them, that you do a back and front differential heat treat.
So on our high carbon blades, 1095 and 5160, we do differential heat treat. If it's something that we have to heat treat the spine on, then we'll heat treat the blade and the spine. Otherwise, the blade is hard and the spine is soft, and that's soft. And that's what that does is it creates a stronger overall length. Right. It's not brittle. It's not with the edge will stay sharp.
Right. But if you're going to use the back as anything like a saw or a hammer,
yeah.
So
if it's got a saw back, those teeth are treated. On the Kuko that we'll be releasing soon, that spine is heat treated. So the blade's hard, the spine is hard, and the spot in the middle isn't quite as hard. There's still this strength that knife is going to have that others might not.
So I know a big question. I know I already asked you, but they're going to want to know. Valley saw. Is that something that's actually going to be happening in the future?
The Valley Song is going to happen. We're pushing to get the Bob folder out. The Fieldcraft folder has kind of been the thing that we're like, we got to finish this up and get it released, and make it available, and then we'll get to the Valley Song. It's close, but we've got to figure out a few things with the mechanics. It's a big, heavy Valley Song, and so when you compare it to a lot of these lighter knives out there, you can flip those around, and there's not as much weight wearing on the parts and pieces, and so this larger one, there's some wear and tear that happens much faster just because of the weight of the knife. And so we're figuring that out. It's going to take a little bit of work, but it's in the process.
Now you guys just moved into a larger facility recently? Is that
a couple years ago? Yeah, it's been a couple years ago.
But it's huge in comparison, isn't it?
Very much. Yeah. Before, we started in like a 2-bay garage. Right. We upgraded to a small shop. We've upgraded a few times along the way, and this last upgrade, we had our office in one location, we had our shop in the other location, and we brought everything together in one building. It's over 30,000 square feet. Wow. When we moved in, we said, oh my gosh, we have so much room in here, and that's changing very rapidly, so we're already like, we might need more room capacity. So, there's some of that going on, but yeah, the buildings, it's been great for us to have everybody in the same spot and to have a better flow. Before it was just fill this corner and fill that corner, and now we set this up from the start. It's awesome. So that's awesome.
Well, Craig, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you're busy, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, brother.
So there you go. There's a lot of good information there. Craig was really, really cool to do that for me. I know Leo would have done it too, but they were pretty busy at the booth.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to pull him away from there. So, but the fact that Craig kind of walked out of the area with me to take the time to do that while they were slamming was pretty awesome.
It was really nice of him.
It was really nice of him. So, like I was talking about at blade show the other day. Sunday is wheel and deal day, and I got a couple of really good deals. I mean, they treated me right. They gave us shirts, patches, and knives and whatever else. And you're probably wondering what I bought, right? So I'm going to show you a little video that's going to mix in things that I already had from Tops and things that I just purchased from Tops. Cool?
Cool.
This is the Tops Mini Scandi MSK Survival. There's 4 different versions of this knife. This one is the opener up. The MSK Survival version. Now the difference in this one is that it has the tan powder coat as well as the red liners on the inside. They developed this knife after the Brothers of Bushcraft to make a mini version of that knife. And she's sweet. Comes with the neck chain and the sheath. It's a little tight right now. I'm going to get used to it. I also have to get used to the camera being backwards when I do stuff like this. But anyways, that is the Mini Scandi. Awesome little knife. This is the Tops Quick Skin. Comes with the Kydex sheath with these adjustable straps that you have to angle to open, which is pretty cool. This is just the standard Tops whistle that comes with just about everything you order from Tops. But this is the Quick Skin. Really cool design, really cool shape. I really dig it. In fact, I like this belly so much that when I developed mine, it has a similar belly to it. But just a really cool knife. Weighty, shorter handle, jimping on the bottom and the top, so you have 2 different resting positions. But just a cool knife. Nice blue scales. Also have a red liner with that powder coat. Tops Quick Skin, made in the USA. This is the Tops Brakimo. I think I'm saying that right. B-R-A-K-I-M-O, Brakimo. And this was made for Bushcraft Global, who go on tours and teach bushcraft skills in the jungle, but different types of bushcraft skills. But anyways, so another thicker Tops. It's a little bit bigger than the Brothers of Bushcraft. Still has your bow drill divots, red liners, and an oversized opening here for a lanyard. But really what it was designed for was for straightening arrows, which is a pretty trick, item to have on a knife. But anyways, the Brakimo, very, very cool. Oh, the other thing that's pretty cool about this knife is that this rotates. So you can rotate your clip position, which is pretty neat. And it's nice and tight. This is the Tops Cub, which is like a smaller version of the Brothers of Bushcraft. They make their own cases. This one's really cool. So you have this long strap to attach it to your molly gear or your belt. Also has a leg strap that you can just pull out there to have that extra additional cordage. The case itself is pretty neat. You can open this up if you want to secure it tight. You can leave this flap on. Otherwise, the flap will actually come all the way off. And then you can just attach it right to your belt like that so that the knife is easily accessible. Or you can put this back on. And close her up tight so you don't have to worry about it. But this comes right out of here. You have that really cool grind to it. Of course, made in the USA. It's a Tops knife. As you can see, it's a Cub. You have the bow drill divot and the oversized lanyard hole on the bottom. Really nice scales. Again, this knife has red liners, but very, very comfortable in the hand. Just a really cool utilitarian knife. And that's the Tops Cub. This big monster is the Tops Vi-Axe, short for Viking Axe. Has a nice leather sheath, real thick leather, really nice. straps on the back if you want to hook it up to your gear. This thing is weighty and mean, so it has a nice long sharp edge here. It's very heavy, has a lot of weight to it. Has a sharpened back end as well on both sides. Those are both sharp as hell. You can choke up on it to the top if you had to do any finer work. The handle itself, you can actually put O-rings on here if you want a better grip, but the grip itself is just fine. When I was talking to Craig, we were talking about this being machined out at one piece, and these new kind of almost looks like you're looking at a topographical map, how they cut these out and machined with the CNC machine. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that pretty good. But anyways, so this is a new process they've been using, and it's really cool. So it lightens it up a little bit, so it's not quite as heavy, but trust me, this thing is still heavy as hell. But just one mean piece of metal here, and I've been wanting this thing for a very, very long time. They also put a bow drill divot in the bottom here. I'm not quite sure why or how that would work out, but we'll see. I'll have to try it and see what happens with it. But anyway, so this here is the Tops Viax, short for Viking Axe. So some cool stuff. Of course, I always want more. But I'd love to have one of everything they have. But as you can see by the booth, they have a lot.
They have a lot.
They had just a ridiculous amount of different styles and just cool stuff. They do it totally different than anybody else, where they don't have like the display with each knife just kind of sitting on a shelf and with a little light on it. No, they had tables and tables with just knives everywhere, which was cool. I mean, it was just really neat, like back to the roots of it all, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool, and they were very knowledgeable and very cool about everything. What did you think about their booth?
So a lot of different companies had these really big, elaborate displays. Some of them, you know, with like the clear plastic type stuff, and you know, the knives kind of hidden away so you can't reach it, or stuff that was like magnetized, or you know, on like a little chain so you can't walk away with it. And they had just tables set up with other knives in front, almost more flea market style, without the flea market price, of course.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I know a lot of people spend a lot of time creating these elaborate displays and everything, and not to knock anything that they do, but it kind of shows a little bit of the humility, you know, that Tops has, that, you know, they don't need to make this great big elaborate display to draw people in. They let their knives speak for themselves. Well,
and they were all about telling people, pick it up, put it in your hands.
Yeah.
Pick it up, put it in your hands. Everybody that was kind of looking at it and afraid to touch it, they would go to them and say, pick it up, put it in your hands. You know, you have to feel it, because you'll never know if you don't feel it.
Right.
You know, and so that was like a big push they were doing, which was a wise decision in my choice, where they want people to actually touch and handle, you know, the stuff.
Exactly.
You know, so this year they did have some new things that I did not buy. I kind of wish I would have, but it's okay. I ran out of additional funds, we'll say. Expendable money, I guess. But anyway, so just to show you what is new this year, I'll put them up here. But the Puukko was a pretty cool knife, and that's the one that Craig is talking about, that is both heat treated on the spine and on the bottom, right? The Yukari is a big chopper, which again will be up here, but that was designed by Craig. That's his design, and he's not a knife designer, but when he was in, I believe, Colombia, he came up with the idea for this chopper, and it turned out really, really cool, and Leo went with it. The other chopper they have is the El Chete. And what does that mean?
The Chete.
Exactly. So the El Chete was another chopper that was cool. And that's available with both a loop or a dangler. You can get it either way, which was pretty cool. And it has like a breakaway sheath. You know, it's just really, really cool. Another thing that they came out with, I think they came out with it last year, was the Frog Market Special, which Craig is talking about in the video. But they make an XL version of that now, which are just really cool field, like kitchen knives. They're a little bit thinner, but they're also just really comfortable in the hand. Apparently it's a Vietnamese design. You would have just heard that in the video, but yeah, so a Vietnamese design, which is pretty cool. And last but not least, they had the Fieldcraft folder. And the Fieldcraft folder is not released yet. I guess it's like the Bob folder, a Fieldcraft folder. They refer to it both ways, but that at this time was a limited release of 50 pieces at $500.
And stamped pre-production.
Stamped pre-production and all that good stuff. And that's not something we were going to do for the price.
No.
But the regular ones should be out shortly. They're just finishing up on the design, and they should have their regular models out sometime this year.
Right. So just a word on how we choose knives that we're going to spend money on. We look for the biggest bang for your buck.
Right.
So it's not necessarily the least expensive thing out there.
Right.
It's what we feel is the best value for what you're getting.
Right. You can definitely buy a cheaper Schrade or a Buck or whatever. I mean, you can get some pretty, inexpensive. Even SOG makes some fairly inexpensive knives, in, I guess you could call it the survival category. But you're not getting the same quality as you're getting with a Tops knife. Tops is definitely not the most expensive by any means. They're, I would say, middle of the road on price, but upper echelon in quality and creativity and what you're actually getting.
Right.
I would put them up against anybody. I mean, for a nice, field knife, this one being the Brakimo, a nice field knife like this, I mean, other companies make a field knife similar, but you're going to pay, $100 more for it, and the quality of this is, just incredible, second to none. And they stand behind their stuff, and they really think it through, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
But anyways, to each his own. It's your money. Do with it what you will. But I have never been disappointed with a Tops knife. Not once. Everyone that I have, everyone that I've ever had, some that I've given away to people that I really cared about, which is why you have a Tops knife. But anyways, the reason that I keep going back and I keep saying Tops is my favorite survival knife company is because you get the quality, the craftsmanship, and just the design that's truly, genius. And Leo designs just about, or has his hands in designing just about everything they have. And what a cool guy.
Right.
But anyways, so once again, to Leo and Craig, I want to say thank you. You guys were fantastic, very welcoming, and we really appreciate the time that you spent with us. But other than that, I don't think I have much.
I would even say, because of the time that they spent with us, talking to us, they became up there among my favorites.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
could be. Absolutely. It does make a difference. The people that work for the company are the representation of the company.
Right.
Right? And so the cooler they are and the better the product, it all coincides together. It all means something to me.
It means a lot to me too.
But anyways, so enough about that. I want to get this video up for you guys so you can see it. Peace.
See ya.
Stay foxy.
Stay foxy.